hit subscribe, followed by the bell. So this week we've had plenty more leaks and news to share about the upcoming Samsung Galaxy Note 20. We've had leaked benchmarks already, leaks of its design and display, and some reports regarding the specs as a whole. When it comes to the Samsung Galaxy Note 20, we're getting a lot of leaks about the design. Many tech blogs have been posting about how the Galaxy Note 20 design has already been revealed after it appeared in a new Samsung Aircon advert. Unfortunately, it's not really the case at all. It's just a generic phone design that they've used in pretty much the Galaxy Note 10 without the punch-hole selfie camera. You can clearly see by the footage that the hand and the phone have been added in post. That being said though, I would expect the Galaxy Note 20 to be looking very similar to the Note 10, but we'll likely see some trimmed down bezels. It's very likely that we're still going to get a punch-hole selfie camera because in-display sensors are just not ready yet. We have however had a design leak from Roland Quant showing us the inlay mold for the Samsung Galaxy Note 20. We get a shot of the front and the rear of the mold, and while it doesn't give too much away, there are still some key details. We can see that the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 is going to be reducing the screen curvature as the mold pretty much goes all the way around the edges. We can also see that the Galaxy Note 20 is going to be sticking with the rectangular camera housing, and it's most likely going to be similar to the latest S20 Ultra. The inlay mold is apparently for the Galaxy Note 20 Plus or the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, whatever they decide to call the largest model. Next up, we've got the Galaxy Note 20 Plus appearing on Geekbench already. Now we have to be careful as a benchmark result is an easy Photoshop and of course can be faked, but the benchmark is actually on the Geekbench browser, so we know it's definitely not a Photoshop. The listing of the Galaxy Note 20 Plus has appeared under the model number SMN986U, and it's the US version of the Galaxy Note 20. The device here is running Android 10 and comes with 8GB of RAM, and it's of course using the Snapdragon 865 Plus. We know this because the Snapdragon 865 maxes out at 2.84 GHz, and if we dive into this score we can see its largest core frequency as high as 3.09. The Galaxy Note 20 scores a single core score of 985 and a multi-core score of 3220, making it the best scoring Samsung phone to date. We also have to remember that this is an early prototype, so the final scores are likely to be higher. They don't come close to the recently leaked iPhone 12 benchmarks, but Apple chipsets always score higher than Qualcomm's. Now when it comes to the Snapdragon 865 Plus that we'll be getting in the Galaxy Note 20, while it is a new system on chip, it's essentially just an overclocked 865. Max Weinbach has advised that when it comes to the 865 Plus, we get 4 cores at 1.8 GHz, 3 at 2.4, and the largest core is at 3.1 GHz, so it should provide some great performance all round. Unfortunately, this is only for North America, and globally we get the Exynos chipset. We are of course expecting an overclocked Exynos 990 to be present in the global Note 20s. When it comes to the rest of the specs and the cameras, we can expect minor improvements over the S20 and probably nothing too major. We probably will get some improved cameras, but I think the area we'll see the biggest improvement on will be the display. Earlier this month, Samsung filed a trademark application with the US Patent and Trademark Office under the name Samsung PIF. This trademark is also included on the World Intellectual Property Organization's database, and it's described as a display for smartphones. It was also filed under Samsung Electronics instead of the Samsung Displays company, which points to the fact that it's most definitely going to be for use in a smartphone and most likely make its debut in the Samsung Galaxy Note 20. We also had a previous trademark last year, and this was for a new type of display named SAMOLED display, which was rumoured to be in the S range, but of course this didn't happen, so it could well be for the Galaxy Note 20. SAMOLED makes sense given the company's name, but it also leaves us wondering if the S actually stands for something. It of course is not going to be Super AMOLED, as we already have that in older displays. Now of course, when it comes to the Galaxy Note 20, the Note is always a slightly more updated and more refined version of its S-range companion, and in the past it was always much larger. This has been changing in recent times, with the S-range getting much larger, so it's going to be interesting to see what sizes we get for the Note 20. We have to ask ourselves, at what size does a phablet become a tablet? Last year we had the Note in two sizes, which was 6.3 inch and 6.8 inch displays. We then had a light model come later with a 6.7 inch display. Given that the S range has massively increased in size, with a 6.9 inch display now coming, I'm going to estimate that we could see a Galaxy Note 20 with at least a 7 inch display. Now of course smartphone sizes are generally getting larger, so phablet sizes are going to rise too. Given the success of last year's Notes, I'm also going to predict that we'll be getting a Galaxy Note 20 along with a Galaxy Note 20 Plus. We haven't had any solid leaks or information when it comes to displays, but I'm going to predict a 6.5 inch display on the Galaxy Note 20 and a 7 inch display on the Galaxy Note 20 Plus. I'm expecting both models to be 1440 by 3200 resolution, and that will be a 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. We're no doubt going to see an in-display fingerprint scanner along with Gorilla Glass 6 for protection. Now when it comes to the selfie camera, the Note line actually led the innovation for Samsung last year. It's going to be interesting to see whether they stick with the punch hole camera top center or if the Galaxy Note 20 comes with a new design altogether. Many are curious whether in-display cameras are going to be available for consumers and when Samsung have this technology ready. My guess would be introducing it on the Note line, but unfortunately the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 is probably a little bit too early for this tech, and it's likely going to be something we see in 2021. When it comes to the rear of the Samsung Galaxy Note 11 or the Galaxy Note 20 as it may be called, I've got no doubts that we're going to see a rectangular camera housing. Samsung have stuck with this across their mid-range and their flagships this year, so the Note 20 should be no different. Samsung have also been getting a lot more adventurous with their cameras, so I'm going to predict that we'll get a 108 megapixel ISOCELL sensor with pixel binning technology. We'll get a periscope lens with some incredible zoom capabilities, we'll get an ultra wide angle for those wide shots, and we'll also get a 3D time of flight depth sensor. We'll also no doubt see better camera sensors on the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Plus compared to the standard Note 20. In the hardware department, we know the Galaxy Note 20 is going to be powered by the Snapdragon 865 in North America and the Exynos 990 globally. We'll see up to 512 gigs of internal storage with up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it will of course be expandable with a micro SD card. Given the larger size, the Galaxy Note 20 Plus is expected to have a battery capacity of 5,200 mAh, while the Galaxy Note 20 is going to be around 4,300. Of course, both Galaxy Note 20s are going to be running Android 10 in the form of One UI 2, and it will be IP68 water resistant. The Galaxy Note 20 is expected to come with stereo speakers and no 3.5mm headphone jack, and most importantly for Note fans, it will be coming with the much loved S Pen using Bluetooth 5. We haven't had any leaks on the upcoming S Pen, but it's no doubt going to be more refined with new hardware and software features. The Galaxy Note 20 is set to be an incredible device, and judging by recent years, we can expect the Galaxy Note 20 to launch at the start of August 2020 and release towards the end of the month. When it comes to pricing, it will of course be an expensive device. Prices are expected to start at about $1,100 to $1,200 for the standard Note 20 and around $1,400 to $1,500 for the Galaxy Note 20 Plus or Galaxy Note 20 Ultra as it may also be called. Given the success of this year's Lite models, it's also likely that we'll get a Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Lite released further down the line. It's a great time to be a Samsung fan with so many phones being released by the company. We've got a huge selection in the A range, the Premium S and the Note line, on top of the Galaxy Fold and the Galaxy Z Flip phone. Now I have to say the Z Flip phone is the only one that doesn't really excite me, but that's just because I see it as a little bit unnecessary. It's sort of trying to solve a problem that isn't really there in the first place and being overcomplicated for very little reason. Of course that's just my opinion though, and I'm sure it will be a successful phone being priced much lower than the Fold. Of course that's all the information and estimates we have